Welcome to another episode of the Chess4Life Spotlight, where we meet amazing individuals from around the world, discovering their connections with chess and using chess to positively impact the world. I'm your host, Elliott Neff, National Master, founder of Chess4Life, and author of A Pawn's Journey, Transforming Lives One Move at a Time. Today with me is Katerina Rohonyan. I hope I said that correct. And she has quite an amazing career, from being a titled high-level chess competitor to a career in technology, including Microsoft, quite a few years now at Google. Excited to have you on the show today, Katerina. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. So as we jump into this, I like to let people get to know who we are before we hit all the chess side of it. So would you mind sharing just a little bit of your background, where you grew up, and your career, including what you're focused on right now?
Absolutely. Sounds good. I was born and raised in Ukraine, played there until I was 20, and then came to the US on a chess scholarship to the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, or UMBC. I had a pretty good chess team. I think at that time it was one of the two universities that offered chess scholarships in the US. And got my degree in computer science. Then joined Microsoft, worked there for almost 5 years, and switched to Google, where I've been for the last almost 10 years. Yeah.
Nice, awesome. And if I can extend that just a little bit further, what's your current role at Google? What would your title be in?
I'm a software engineer.
Okay, software engineer. Awesome. I see a lot of connections with chess players in tech, in STEM, and such careers. So that's great. Also, before we go too much further, outside of chess, which obviously was a big part of your life, do you have other favorite hobbies, sports, interests?
Yes, right now my interests are my family. I don't have much time for anything else. I have three beautiful little kids, aged 8, 6, and 4.
Awesome.
And a husband, a dog, and currently, as of now, I have a cat and 5 kittens.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a busy household indeed. And I can relate. I've got kids myself, so my sports of, ice hockey and all kinds of things had to go on the for later list. That's awesome. And before we go much further too, what is something unique about you that most people just don't know?
I don't know. I can easily adapt to things. Like you're talking about strengths wise or some interesting fact.
Either one. We like to throw in some fun background. Like, some people don't know that I used to figure skate.
Oh, interesting.
Most people.
I used to competitively row.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
That's awesome.
For kids, yeah.
Very cool. Okay, thanks for that. So let's jump into this now from the chess perspective, because obviously you have a quite a history of that. Do you mind sharing when you learned to play chess? What your experience was growing up with the game, and how far you progressed?
Absolutely. I learned to play when I was 7. It just kind of happened accidentally that I got sick and my dad decided to teach me how to play. Yes, and after that, there was a coach who came to our school, and he was asking people to join the local chess club. I joined the local chess club, and I really liked the game. I excelled at it. It was great to be the top. I was competitive. And one thing that was really hard about chess at that time, it was needing to sit for a long time. I was very active, and I just sitting on the same spot for a long time, that seemed to be the most challenging thing.
Yeah, develop some patience through the game, right? Having to stay focused. Absolutely. And it's a good point for people who are listening who haven't played in chess competitions much or at all. Right. We have games from fast ones to the serious competitions, where you can have games lasting 4+ hours. And so that's some serious time, especially for kids. Yeah, that's awesome. So then you've accomplished a lot in your chess career, right? Achieving, I believe, the WGM title. which for those listening, right, that is women's grandmaster title, one of the top titles available. So you pursued chess. Did you see chess at any point as a career focus itself, or did you just see it as a path or a means to other things? What was your perspective on chess for yourself?
Well, certainly when I was playing in Ukraine, it was career, the goal, it was the means to an end, it was everything. It was my whole life. But once I came to the US and I started getting into computer science, I realized that a lot of skills transferred and I was really good at computer science. I realized that maybe this is, I have an alternative.
Yeah.
One thing that I really enjoyed was computer science, and having a career is that stability over
Yes.
chess. That in chess you make one wrong move that can cost you the first prize money, and potentially can cost you a year in your career.
Yeah.
At work you might have a bad day, but you still get paid.
That's a great comparison, right? The risk level, let alone the compensation level. Yeah. So basically what I hearing you say is, in Ukraine, you loved the game and that was your focus, but then this door opened up as an opportunity to come on scholarship to college in the US. Can you share more about how that happened? Was it unexpected out of the blue, or did someone reach out to you, or was it something you intentionally pursued from your own side first?
Yes, I came to the US to visit on just a social visit in 2003, and I connected to chess players and a few chess players and a few people that I've made friends with. They helped me apply to this university, helped me with the application process. Obviously, my English wasn't that great, and I basically a year and a half later, I came on a scholarship that the University of Maryland, Baltimore County accepted me. They had a spot freed up, I think, at that time. And one of the chess players who joined the team, I think he ended up accepting an academic scholarship. So that's how I got, it was Pascal Charbonnet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
wow.
We're in the same team for 4 years.
That's awesome. Pascal, an amazing player, I believe up in Canada, isn't he?
He grew up there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's awesome. And by the way, for those listening, there's quite a backstory here of which we can't spend too much time on, but of colleges in the US who have recognized the value of having chess teams and how chess players, as you mentioned, Kat, the transferable skills towards certain majors like computer science, technology, STEM careers, and such. And so there are some colleges in the US that really provide amazing scholarships to find talented, skilled chess players to come in, join their team. And at the same time, they're the kind of college that really supports chess for what it does, the connection between chess and career. And, let's talk about that just for a little bit more here, because you came in there on the scholarship, you started to recognize, your potential in these careers, but at the same time, you're playing for one of these colleges. Can you share what that experience was, since it was a chess scholarship, what that entailed? All 4 years, I imagine you're on the chess team there. And what were some of your highlight experiences in competing in chess while at the university?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the highlights fall right on those 4 years that I've spent in the college. While in the college, I got to play, I think, in 2 or even 3 US championships, because I changed federations, and I placed second behind Irina Crush in 2007, and I think I placed third in 2008. I got to be on the US Olympic team in Germany, Dresden, where we got the bronze medal in 2008. And I got to also play in the Women's World Championship in 2008, where I represented the US. And I got to beat Natalia Zhukova in the first round and proceeded to the second round, where I lost to Ina Gaponenko, both Ukrainians. Those, I guess, are the highlights of my career. After those two tournaments, I haven't really played chess seriously, just in a couple of opens here and there. Shared first place in the Carries Open
Nice.
in Vancouver, but that's about it. The major accomplishments and the major events happened during the 4 years in college.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. So let's shift now. So you talk about the transferable skills. We've already touched base on those. Can you go a little deeper into this of what you see as the skills that you develop in chess that you see directly or very closely translate into the type of work you do today or have done? I would love to hear your perspective on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I get to start with the kind of anecdotal case of me taking the artificial intelligence and them studying their decision trees. And I was like, this is what I've been doing all my life, right? Decision trees and how you walk them. You know, the good chess books tell you about how to do that. You just develop candidate moves and you walk down the decision tree. So it's just a more direct application, I guess. But other than that, all the methodical ways of approaching chess games, tactical abilities, strategical abilities, they all transfer, and you kind of go about thinking not just computer science, but you go about your life thinking that way. You kind of become a problem solver in a way. So you think, like, okay, what's my plan long term, and what can I do tactically, like short term, to improve the situation?
Yeah, exactly. I appreciate you saying that, because one of the things I like to share about playing at master level and above in chess is part of the keys to success is learning to play chess backwards. How beginners tend to play the move in front of them, whereas the stronger you get, the more you think about the long-term objectives based upon the position, and then backtrack it to, hey, how do I get there, right? And then at the same time, like you said, with decision making, we have to be comfortable with making decisions without all knowledge. So it's that choice, and then evaluate outcomes, and then test and retest and adapt as we go. So it's pretty cool to see that thinking translate over there.
Which reminds me of this. Sorry, I wanted to mention this is a great book. Reminds me of this American classic, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Start with the end in mind, and then work your way backwards, basically.
Exactly. I guess Stephen Covey must have been a chess player, or could have been. That's awesome. So we talk about these benefits, and we're thinking about critical thinking skills, problem solving skills, focus, patience, right? This tree analysis. For people who don't play chess, I want to just clarify what we mean there a little bit. Is in chess, you have all these candidate moves, meaning I want to achieve something. What are the moves that reasonably I can consider that move me towards that goal? But then I need to consider what's the response from the opponent, and then deeper and deeper calculating all these things. So these are all, right, training the brain how to think. What do you see from the softer side skills that chess translates, or do you see some? We're talking now the social, the connection, teamwork, these kinds of elements. What has been your experience that way?
Yeah, and chess is not much of a team sport. You get to play some team events here and there, but you wouldn't call it a team sport, right? Even if when you play in a team, sometimes you're not necessarily being trained as a team, and you just like sort of qualified to play as a team through individual events, right? I think what social skills transferred is having friends, chess friends from different parts, sometimes not even of your country, like Ukraine, but different parts of the world, and connecting with them, keeping in touch. Just I guess, yeah, building relationships through this network of like-minded individuals, and I guess that transfers anywhere you go, any network you participate in, whether it's a network of software engineers or college students or rowers, figure skaters.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. So do you mind sharing, you mentioned some of your, chess experiences as you were at college here. What would be one of your like favorite highlight memories? And maybe you can just say why that one in particular stands out now.
Yeah, this was definitely the Olympiad because it was the team event, right? We had a great team, and outside of the Olympiad, where outside of playing chess, where we got the bronze medals, we spent really good time together with Tatev, Abrahaman, Zatonsky, and Galitiani. We were walking a lot, singing some songs. We obviously had some really good time, and sometimes we would share these memories back. How like Google phone tells you like every November that so many years, or 14 years ago, it recently told me that you had this great experience. We
That's
shared
awesome.
pictures with each other. Yeah,
So
it
basically
had been fun.
a highlight memory, not just because of chess outcomes, but just the working together and building those friendships, relationships. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I would say similar for myself is chess has been an amazing opportunity to connect with people that you might not otherwise connect with, right? People from other cultures, countries, the doors that open through the game. And it's been for myself too, a wonderful vehicle. With that, do you have a chess game that you would like to share, and that's something that we could potentially just link to in our notes or in our blog? That it's and if so, what's special to you about the game?
I don't think the game was online, but I can sort of write the moves for you.
That would be awesome. We could do it right here if you have it.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, awesome. What I will do is I will share my screen so our audience can see this. So I'm going to pull up the platform here, and we're going to go to, here we are. Back to a board editor in this game, or analysis board. There we go. And what color were you playing? Light or dark?
I was white.
Okay, excellent. And I'm going to share the screen here. So let's play through this and give us a bit of context for this. So when was this played? Who were you playing? What was the background to it?
Yeah, this was the game I played in '99. Yeah, long time ago, and it was against Lida Bogatyryova. It was the U.S. Championship of Ukraine among girls under, must have been 14, 15, 16.
Okay. So girls championships in Ukraine. Awesome.
Yeah, girls championship in Ukraine, and she was supposed to become a champion. So she was like 1.5 points ahead of everyone else, and this was three more rounds to go. So after this game, we had 2 more rounds.
Okay, so the third last match in that championships.
No, it was 2 more rounds to go. So it was the game before the last one.
Oh, okay. So second to last game. Wow. Okay, so
second to last game, she's 1.5 points ahead of the
rest.
Yeah, of the rest, and she lost this game and lost the next one, and which cost her the title. But it's I was I mean, I still feel sad about that part. But the game is pretty.
Okay, so let's take a look. How did you open? Let's see.
E4, D5.
E4, D5.
C5. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. C5.
Knight F3, Knight C6.
Okay, so for those watching, this is the Sicilian defense.
Yeah, D4.
Controlling the center, I assume.
Takes D4, Knight takes D4, Knight F6, Knight C3, then G6. So
Okay.
This is a bit rare continuation,
Yeah.
but I knew she was going to play this because she played this before. So I
Yeah.
was ready for this.
And for those listening who might not know, this is a variation, you could say, of the dragon, where the bishop goes here and tries to attack the center from the side. Okay.
Yeah, usually that happens before developing the knight on f6,
Right.
knight on c3. So this is an unusual one.
Yeah.
So knight takes c6, b takes, and e5.
And e5. Okay.
So basically, this is, I think, why it's not played as much.
Mm-hmm.
I think the best continuation here is to sacrifice a pawn by playing knight d5.
Okay. Yeah.
Knight takes and queen takes and so on. Like black will get some activity. So instead,
here we gain a pawn, but black will get some activity, as you mentioned.
Yeah, rook b8 and so on.
Exactly. Okay. So, but instead of playing knight d5,
yeah, she played knight g8.
Knight back to g8, back to its starting square.
Yeah. So I think the hope here is that the pawn on e5 will become weak.
Yep.
But black is way too passive for that.
Yeah, and then the black has two pawns in the center file, so hoping to maybe even take over the center later. But yeah.
So bishop c4.
Yeah.
Bishop g7. Bishop f4. And queen a5.
Okay. So the queen is.
Yep. And I just castled. So this was on my board the night before the game.
So you anticipated by looking up her history of games that she might play this variation. Yeah. And for those listening who might not play a lot too, this is basically trying to sacrifice this pawn instead of doing what was mentioned could be the best line for black sacrificing. Now white's trying to sacrifice to open the lines and build the attack. Okay. Right. So did she take the pawn?
Yeah, she did. Otherwise, there is no point of doing this whole thing. So she has to take the pawn. Queen takes. And rook e1. Yep. So I'm pretty happy here with the pawn sacrifice. Have all my pieces developed, castle.
Exactly. And, I see 4 of your opponent's pieces have not been developed, and 5 when you count the king's not safe. Whereas your king is. All these are in good position. You have really this rook to develop, and then everything's mobilized.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the theory here is to play queen f4, and this is what I was analyzing at home.
Mm-hmm.
Rook e4, queen f6. The idea is that you let the rook occupy the e4 square, so the knight won. Right. That's why you won't play queen 6 right away. But this is not what she played.
Okay, and so we back up here. Instead of queen f4, where did she play?
He went queen g7, and from I understand this is what her idea was. Like she basically purposefully went for this position. So basically, blacks are only like two moves away from completing development. Knight f6 or knight h6 and castle, and they will be good.
The only challenge I'm seeing is that if they give back the pawn, well, I guess they might just have to try to get developed.
Yeah, if they give back the pawn on e7, so it will be even, but they will get to complete the development. The position might as well be equal.
Right. So what do you do to try to take advantage?
Yeah, so this was a surprise for me, and I think time control at that time was 2 hours for 40 moves, and then half an hour for the rest of your game.
Yeah.
So I thought here for an hour.
Wow. An hour out of basically you used half your time to complete your first 40 moves on this next turn. Right.
And I think, she kind of got bored and walked a lot, and, an hour is a long time for chess tournament. So I played queen d2.
Queen d2?
Yeah.
Wow. What a quiet move in so many ways, right? Because I immediately start thinking of, moves like knight here to come in, and queen to d6, things like this. But queen d2. So what is the idea?
The idea is to control the black squares and also connect the rooks. So the rooks weren't connected, right? And
right.
One idea is about knowing that you finish developments when your rooks are.
Yes. So when the rooks can see each other, then you've completed your opening development.
Turns out this was a very, very solid move that made the final moves possible. So she came and pretty quickly, maybe within a minute, moved knight to h6.
Which was her plan.
Because like no moves like queen d6 work now, because knight f5 defense was a tempo.
Exactly. Covers there and would attack any piece that comes in.
Okay. So can you maybe anticipate what happened?
So the other thing is, if this king castles, then the king is out of danger. And do we want that to be permitted? So,
right, black can give away that pawn on e7, and basically was like, I have no pawns in the center, so d5 will follow with the tempo, and then the bishop will develop. So,
I mean, I have not calculated this, but the thing that strikes me is, can we get away with sacrificing the rook?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what follows.
Because it's like, if otherwise that king escapes. But what makes me think of that move is this knight is on the edge, right? The rooks are in the corners. The queen is out of play for the moment. And this other rook can follow in quickly. Plus our queen can enter the dark squares. And if our queen can enter the dark squares, I could see a pattern, I would just say, where if the king is on d8 and this pawn is gone, I see a mating pattern with the queen here.
Absolutely. That's why queen d2 was.
Wow. So you played rook takes pawn check, and they have to take. Otherwise, it's like, right?
Right.
If you don't, you've completely failed.
Right. You will get the castle.
Was it rook check next?
Yeah.
Okay. And where does the king go? Well, actually, I guess this is pretty obvious here. This is forced to go to that d8 square, because if here, then you have queen check, king over, rook in, and mate.
Absolutely.
And if king comes forward, that just cannot possibly work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then the king is forced to go back to d8. And now if only we get here. So may I guess? Do we do?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the moves that are in mind is knight b5, d5. I don't really like blocking my own queen this way, but yet I want to go there. And I know a5 is going to probably come to try to stop me. Oh, wait. What am I thinking? We've got queen check on g5. So if we go check, a block, that would be mate. So a queen check would force the king over here. Right. The king's on the run. Then we could follow up with queen check here. But is the king going to be safe over on this side?
Yeah, king b8, not so fast.
Right, exactly. It's like letting the king escape to a safer square, because then the bishop can be blocking.
Right, might still not be safe there, but
right,
we'll get to hang on for a little bit.
Or do you go knight a4? No, I don't like that either. Okay, for sake of time, what?
Knight d5.
Knight d5. Okay, so it is one of the candidate moves I was thinking of, but I'm not.
Yeah, this just forces.
This is a5.
Is the only move.
Right, any only move. Otherwise, the queen comes in.
Yeah. And then she resigned after my next move.
Okay, so I got to see this one here. Well, I mean, you could do the check, and then the pawn would block. But you could also,
Think another quiet
Oh,
move.
wait. Queen E3 is another option. You threaten mate two ways.
Yep, and that's it.
Queen E3, threatening checkmate here and threatening checkmate here.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Game over in just, wow.
17 moves, 17 moves.
Incredible. 17 moves. And we have to resign. Game's over. Nothing will stop mate in at most 2, right? Because, make one escape square and then the queen comes in and goes checkmate.
Yep.
That is beautiful.
Yeah,
wow.
Game still the most
Memorable game. And now just out of curiosity, so you won, right? She's now half a point ahead of the field, but tragically for her, lost the last match too. How did you end up in that event? How did your last game go?
I didn't do well in the middle of the tournament, so I think I might have placed 4th or 3rd. I don't remember now. Yeah. It wasn't a good year for me.
Yeah, but still, what a memorable game. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. That is beautiful. And I want to point something out here. Talk about the benefits of chess training and how you think, right? In that moment in a competition, you recognize this is the critical moment. It's like, this is the moment that's going to decide everything, what my plan is, where I'm headed. And it was worth investing half your time, basically, just on a single move, because it was creating the understanding of that position and what's going on and what the goal is. And then after that, you're able to, finish the game in 4 turns.
Yeah. Talk about transferable skills.
Yes, exactly.
Moments like that as well.
Yeah. And could you ever have imagined when you were 7, 8, 9, thinking for a straight hour on a single move, sitting still?
I was 15.
You were now 15, right? But, you talked earlier about.
Yep, absolutely.
Having to build that ability to be patient and focus. So that is beautiful. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Kat. So another quick question here is, we talk about these mindsets of success at Chess4Life, right? 10 different mindsets. And, there's many other skills, of course, and direct ones like we've talked about. We say like win, draw, and learn, right? That mindset of never giving up and these different ones. Which one or two stand out to you from that 10 life skills that we talk about at Chess4Life?
I think one, I looked them up. One of them was about habits, right?
Healthy habits, absolutely.
Healthy habits. So I think this is very important, and I wish I knew the power of habits before. When I was a kid, I was more consistent with my training, more consistent with exercising physically, being in better health, and this is what I value right now too. Recently read the book Atomic Habits. That clicked, but I've been doing it, sort of a lot of things from that book already. Sort of consistency in your training matters a lot, and realizing that it's better to train 5 minutes every day than 2 hours one day a week, right? So that's absolutely one of the successful, or what do you call it, personality trait, or the tool.
Yeah, I appreciate you mentioning that, because of the 10 life skills, that one is a powerful one to allow the others to happen. Because if you can build healthy habits, great habits, right, then you will develop the skills in other ones like the focus and the goal setting and the planning and these different ones. So I'm glad you mentioned that. And, it's one of those elements. People are busy, but it's important to grow, right? We say always improve. And so imagine a person can say, I don't have time to read books to grow. But what if they anybody can carve out 5 to 10 minutes somewhere. And if you're able to read 1 chapter a day, just think about that. In a year, that's 365 chapters. Exactly. How many books is that, right? And literally, it was 5 or 10 minutes. Everybody can find 5 or 10 minutes somewhere.
Yeah, and I think one of the kind of tricks that comes from that book is making this habit very easy to start on. So like, for example, like exercising, and this is something that I use like when I try to get back into exercising after being sick. You limit your time in exercising up to 5 minutes a day, and it's very easy to hit, but you do it every day. And then basically the idea is that you form your identity, you form your habit, and then it becomes easier to add on more minutes.
Right. Yeah. In other words, you don't start with something like, I'm going to run 5 miles every day or something crazy. It's just something really easy, but creates the habit of doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the other big thing that I kind of tried was my middle child, Alexis. I tell her to basically persevere, that willpower, and basically just put in the time, and you get just slightly better, and that's what matters. This is your goal, is not to maybe compare yourself with the older brother or with somebody else at school. You got better. She's playing piano right now. You got better today, or you played this song better today than you played yesterday. This is already good accomplishment. You're already doing great. So sort of pat yourself on the shoulder and make me happy.
Exactly. And that's a huge mindset, right? It's so easy for us to at times say, oh, look at how far away I am from my goal in whatever it is. But instead, if incrementally every day you celebrate the progress you made, the effort you took, in almost no time, you will see tremendous progress towards that goal, rather than going, oh, look at how far away I am. I'm too tired to even make, the 10 minutes today, right? It's the reverse of the healthy habit. So anyway, this has been a joy catching up with you, Kat. I do have a final question I'd like to do. And before we do that, I'd like to say, are you open to challenging me to a quick chess game? Awesome. Thank you for doing that. We'll set that up on Lee Chess. And by the way, people who are listening or watching, remember to like and subscribe to not miss any of these amazing stories here. So in terms of time control for a quick one here, what time control would you like? 3 minutes for the game? 5 minutes?
3 minutes sounds good.
Perfect. Any increment or just 3 minutes?
You choose.
Okay. Just 3 straight works for me. Then what I'll do is I've got this set up here. I'm going to set up a challenge link, and it looks like Kat has the light pieces. I've got the dark ones. So let's have a fun challenge. So here goes the game. I'm playing the dark pieces. Kat is playing the light pieces. And this is called the French defense, if you're watching. And it's a fun challenge here. We're both battling the center with our knights attacking this pawn on e4, defending and attacking. This pins my knight to my queen. Got to decide, how am I going to change that? Well, okay, you know what? I think I can't take too much time for this. I'm just going to go this way. I'm prepared in case the pawn attacks my knight.
Actually, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. No problem.
Yeah, it didn't kick me out this time. So
that's great.
Yeah, usually I would play here e5.
Yes.
To the g7 and then h4, sacrificing the pawn.
Yes. Alekhine Chatard attack. Yep.
Yeah, but I don't remember theory there, so I'll just take.
So we're going to have a different line today. So now we have, I have the 2 bishops called the bishop pair, while Kat has the 2 knights, and Kat is the better center at the moment. So let's see what develops.
I'm better gain some speed.
Let's see. So I'm going to play this one for the sake of tripling these pawns.
I don't know. Let's try it.
So Cat has sacrificed a bishop. My king's in the open. I'm trying to survive against this attack. I was counting upon my queen helping out with this.
Okay. Let's get this party started. Oops.
Oh.
Yeah. Wrong move.
Sorry. Let me see.
Okay.
Yeah, and you've got the disadvantage you're playing on your phone, I think you were saying.
That's all right. But no lame excuses.
Yeah. King tries to run back to safety.
You know, I might just resign as well.
Yeah, I suppose, right? Because my king is getting back to safety. I've got the extra rook now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't, yeah. Spaced out on the H3 square being controlled now.
Exactly. I was desperate to get a bishop in there because I was realizing I couldn't take the knight like my plan was. Because then you would take with check. Now, even if my king retreats.
No, I was going to play rook H3 and queen H5.
Oh, yeah, that was your plan. Right. Rook H3, queen H5. But after E5, I mean.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. So if I play takes here, you were then going to play rook check. King here, queen check, king and here.
Then taking pawn.
And then I have to run away probably. Obviously can't take with my queen. Otherwise your other rook comes in.
Right.
King back. Whew.
And
doesn't feel comfortable in a fast game. A lot of things.
Yeah.
And then queen G6.
Yeah.
Queen G6. I would probably have to play something like queen here.
Or queen F.
Oh, you were thinking queen F2?
Queen F5. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. True, because that also threatens mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, good defense. Because then if I block this way. Good point. Yeah, so that's a dangerous attack, but I guess my queen activated enough was sufficient to try to stop it.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe it was premature.
Yeah, it's okay. But thank you for doing that, Kat. And now, as we wrap up, would like to ask you this last question here. You know, and you may have alluded to a little bit of this already in one thing we talked about, but I really like to ask every guest, you know, what is it now that you've had all this amazing experience in chess, in life and such, what's the advice that you would give your younger self if you had this to do over again, knowing what you know now?
I think I would have advised myself to, I wish I had more consistency. So I would have advised myself to build good habits, keep at it. And just being consistent matters more than being sort of inspirational.
Yep. Yeah. Awesome. Great. And then final question, where do you see yourself what's your big dream, big goal, let's say for the next 10 years or whatever time period in your mind? You've already mentioned, of course, how busy you are with family and career. So what's your big next goal?
I don't know if I have like specific goals about career and chess. Like I think I'm in pretty good place at work. I really enjoy spending time with my family, and I sort of maybe very happy when they succeed at something. So I want to see my kids being successful in school and in their life. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's not my goal necessarily. It's still the execution is with them. But empowering my kids, I guess, is my goal for the next 10 years.
Absolutely. Applying what you've learned, right? And giving that benefit to your kids. That's awesome. Well, Kat, it has been a joy connecting with you, catching up, hearing about your journey. I learned some more new things here. We'd love to share any links we can. I know you're from Ukraine. Ukraine's going through a tough time right now. You talked about even a fundraiser that you were working on doing to help support people in difficult places over there. Any links like this that you can share, we were happy to post them in comments, in our blog, anything like this. Thank you again for joining us on the Chess4Life Spotlight. Best wishes to you, and we'll look forward to catching up in future.
Thanks for having me. It was my pleasure.